This is an informative video about the steps of releasing your fascia. Fascia used to just be called your connective tissue, but now they're realizing connective tissue is more around the muscles, ligaments, and tendons, and it's way beyond that now. It's around the fascia, it's what separates organs, it's all connected. It goes up into the brain, it's how your brain communicates to your body. So if you feel sharp shooting pains, achiness, dullness, referring pain, a pain here and then a pain here and then a pain here, and you go to the doctor, maybe you don't even go to the doctor because you just have a pain and it goes away and then you have nothing to report to your doctor, that's your fascia. If you're starting to just feel old, have you ever done anything for your fascia? So it's never too late. So fascia is collagen, it can be restored, it's all about hydration. The first important thing is breathing. So I think we could try all of this breathing and movement on our own, but our muscles get locked into patterns from the fascia. So the more that I go into fascia, the more that I'm saying, keep your shoulders down, and realizing people don't have this twist or this unevenness in their body. You can start to be curious about pain. So if you don't have any of the wood yet, which is what you're going to progress to, you can start with a yoga block. This is a 4-inch one. If you have a 3-inch one, great. If you have a book, great. If you want a towel like this, great. If you want to go to OPTP and get the orange ball, which there's a pink one too, it's a little smaller. Truth be told, I have not tried that. I like this size. I haven't tried the pink one. And then there's also the black ball. Just because you start with this and we get the superficial layer doesn't mean you're not gonna then go onto it later. And as we progress more to deep tissue with the wood and more getting the adhesions all the way to the bone and working the different fascia lines and fascia slings of the body, it doesn't mean you're not gonna use these other things to prop you up. So have a towel close by, if you have a bolster close by, if you have a rolled up yoga mat close by. You might need to do this by a couch, you might need to do this by the foot of your bed. But these are just all ideas to get you started because I don't want, just start and see. There's a big difference with all of this stuff. I've tried softer balls. If you're someone with fibromyalgia, feel free to get those Franklin balls, that's fine. But just get started with doing something. So whatever I'm gonna show you today, you can do with any of these things. There's going to be a multi-approach. Every day is going to be different. I find the balls, everything else to be a little bit more superficial. When you first start, you feel the tightness. You hold and you breathe into it. Then you're gonna kind of progress up. So I've also created different size woods because I feel like they are all different. So this oval one I like better than a dowel. A dowel to me feels really intense on a small specific spot. Maybe it might advance and one day I might go to that, but for now I actually really just like this because this is the unwinding stick. All of the plastics out there, I just feel like there's an energetic property to all of these plastics, and I really like the wood. It mimics bone density a little bit better. It's something you can travel with. I have oak, I have pine as of the time of making this video here, so things could change. I might be out of stock. So then there's going to be the brick. So it's the releasing brick. This is poplar. It would be something of more of where you're starting. And then I have it made out of oak as of the time that I'm creating this. I might eventually sell out of these and then get a different part of wood because I even have some things made of maple. There might be things made of mahogany. I'm just playing around with all different. If you're really tight, this poplar might be a great start. But then you might want to progress up into the oak. But what I found was once I progressed into the oak, I started using both blocks because then I could do one in my rib and one on the side of my knee, or one in my hip and one on my shoulder. And so I actually just kept using, and the whole time if I'm lying on my side doing this, I'm actually using the black ball in my neck to support my neck. Or if I don't have the ball, I use a block. So each time I find something, I actually start to think, I'm not gonna do the old stuff, but I actually really appreciate the difference in the old and the new stuff. Then I have something a little bigger. This one is made of oak, so it's heavy. This is more of a releaser. relaxer, sorry. It's bigger, you could do the same things with it. It just depends on your body size, the angle that you're going to need to do it. So for all of these, this video is more catered to the wood, and I'm going to be using just the brick size of the releaser. So we're gonna start standing on it because I really think that you should be looking at how everything, if you stand, if you walk, everything comes up from there. So you should be relaxing and releasing your feet first. So I'm gonna put it down. I have socks on, that doesn't matter, but I am gonna be bare feet. I do want you not to be balancing though, so you have to hold on. And I'm just gonna give a minute of all of these because if you want a little bit more specifics, you're gonna have to pay to be into the membership, but I want people to kind of get going to feel what it feels like, because the proof is in how you feel. If you don't like it, then you don't sign up. If you start to feel good, then you progress on a little bit more. I'm trying just to get word out there more. So I can bend one leg, sink into one foot a little bit more. I can bend the other and sink in. I'm doing the arch of my foot. I could scoot forward a little bit so it goes back towards the heel. I'm in around the heel. I could go onto the heel a little bit more, but if you have any bone spurs or bony protrusions, you just might want caution. Then I'm gonna back up a little bit. I can drop my heels down and have them on the floor and get a calf stretch as I'm on the balls of the feet on the block. I can use the edges and kind of get around the arch and the ball of the foot, getting any fascia adhesions in there. What we're looking for is probably something that hurts, but something that's dull, you should hold and breathe and give it time too. And maybe you spend 10 minutes a day doing different parts of your body, and then you come around and you cycle again, and you might actually feel it differently than you did the first time. You also need to do corrective alignment, which is going to be another video. I probably have some free YouTube, whether it's on Unwinding Studio or my name Sonia James from years ago, kind of blending everything together, but it's just me doing everything. It's slow doing everything. But the longer you hold, think of it for about 3 minutes. Try to really breathe in and breathe out as you're doing this. All right, so next what we're going to do is the calves, because I'm just working up the feet just a little bit. So we can start on the higher part of the calf, and then you're gonna hold. You can stack one leg on top of each other and just hang out. So sometimes when I'm at home, what I do is just sit on the floor and lean back against the couch and just hang out here for a second. If this is too intense, take it off. I'm gonna point my foot, I'm gonna flex my foot. I can turn out, I can hold it there, flex and point. I can turn in, I can hold it there, flex and point. Don't go and create too much movement. It's not a roller. That's kind of the outdated fascia stuff. What we're trying to do is find the adhesions, hold pressure on it to kind of let it melt and sink, because we want the hydration, which is part of the fascia is hydration, to become more honey. And then if honey gets too dehydrated, it starts to kind of crystallize, solidify a little bit, and then it binds up in the fascia. And then we blame the muscle, but it's actually been the fascia all along. So there's just a huge awakening on what the fascia is. So maybe do 3 spots down your calf today. Or if you have time, go around, go down, hold and sink, move in, move out. There might be a recovery period. There might not be. The calves hold a lot of tension, and I find the rib cage holds a lot of tension, and I want you to breathe better. So then the next spot you're going to do is you're going to put the block on your side rib. The block, the ball, or the towel. So I love having both arms over my head, and I'm going to hold and breathe. So the spots that I like doing, really you could do along the whole side. Just beware, you might be so bound in your fascia that you have a rib release. You might think you break a rib. More than often it's not a break, but it is extremely painful and takes about 3-4 weeks to feel better. Always go to your doctor if you're not sure, because if you have osteoporosis, definitely something to be concerned about. This is when I start people on maybe a ball or a block or a towel and work them up to it, because although this is ultimately where you wind up to, if people rush it and they don't feel like spending money on the other things, they're gonna go to the wood and you're just gonna have more of a reaction. Always reach out, let me know, because bruising might happen just because of bound up fascia. You might look like your cellulite gets worse because cellulite is actually all about the fascia. So I'm gonna start about the side of my chest because there's actually a fascia sling here. But the diaphragm is what can be locked up. So I might go a little lower close to the floating ribs. Just be careful if you're gonna cough. I'm gonna twist forward a little so it rolls towards the front, and I'm gonna twist back a little. Then just below the armpit is the back side is the rotator cuffs and the front is the chest. A really great thing for you to do because all of this stuff controls the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade connects up to the neck, so if you have neck issues, this is definitely my go-to. If you're someone with autoimmune, chronic pain, have had an injury, and you hold your breath, you should really be doing a lot around the diaphragm because that's what helps you breathe. If you hold your breath, do your diaphragm more. This is when this block, the bigger block, might be better. You could always put this block on a book or the yoga block to make it up higher, but these rounded edges definitely make a big difference. If you have sciatica pain, lower back pain, a lot of it could be coming from the legs. So what I'm gonna do is come and lie down. I could lie with a brick this way. I can have it down. I can turn it and have it kind of like the edge, like dig in a little bit in the psoas. I can twist a little bit. So what it's gonna look like when I'm down is just being here. And I'm kind of twisting and being curious. And if it hurts, just back off. Just do little bits. That little bits over the years or time just might feel really good. I would say if you used a roller is just totally different. I kind of feel like it moves too much, same as the balls. The bricks just kind of stay here. And so you can actually release a little bit more. So although you think they're going to be hard, it's actually a completely different thing than you might think. So I'm doing this. I also had a C-section, so I also bring it down a little lower. I do my pubic bone, I do above the pubic bone, I work on all of my scar tissue. If you're ever nervous about it, start with your hands in an area, start to break up scar tissue, start to put more pressure in, go softer with towels or the balls, and then you could work your way up to the wood. The rules of the wood: don't do your lower back, don't do your neck. Too many bony protrusions, and that's where the nerves are. So if that's where your pain is, we're trying to stop the muscular pattern that goes onto the nerve pain. Don't do your lower back and your neck. All right, so I could stay with that block, but I'm gonna go back to the brick and quads. Why I like this height is I can just plop down. If it was higher, I might have to hold myself in a plank. The people I typically work with don't really have the strength and the ability because of a shoulder injury or back injury. So I'm just plopped down. You can start up on your hip bone, that bony protrusion up at your hip flexor if you have hip flexor issues. You could turn in, you could turn out, bend the leg, hold it there, sink, let it go in, straighten the leg out. Try to do 3 spots down your leg, but you can also move segmentally down. Going right above the knee might be a lot of tension if you have knee pain. I can keep it bent and kind of tick-tock my foot side to side. Really, in the next year, if you were to do this little bit by little bit, you should have explored every square centimeter within your body. I don't know where an adhesion is. You might not know where an adhesion is. But when you start to feel where there's pain, you can get curious about it. If you put pressure on there, it actually might calm the pain down. It's a really weird phenomenon that you're gonna have to experience on your own. Sometimes it just releases. Some spots take more time to release. Sometimes we just don't have enough time for things to completely release on their own. Sometimes we do have the time. So we'll just, for the short video, I'm just switching to do the other side. Bending and straightening the leg. I could hold it up in a plank if I want to. So the legs connect to the pelvis. They can pull the pelvis around. You can actually be pulling the pelvis off of the spine in nano movement, micro movement, and then it goes onto the nerve. So a lot of times it's just the sciatic nerve is just under pressure because we have overactive quads. So hamstrings, sometimes I like the bigger one. So if you don't have a bigger one, you can always just do a yoga block. You can sit, this is another one I do sitting on the floor. So I have a couch behind me. I have it way up high on my sit bone. You can go anywhere down the sit bone, down to the back of the knee, down to the calf, which we already did the calf. Maybe you didn't, maybe you want to do it. Do multiple spots, turn in, turn out. If you need more pressure, stack the other leg up on top of it. You can also, this is when a lower one might be good, is just sit and have your leg dangle. If you could do this on any chair, you could do it on a couch, just depends how squishy your couch is. If you don't get the leverage you want, you might need a harder surface. But you could even bring the unwinder stick. You could probably do from your office chair or even your car, of just putting it into different spots. So if you have lower back pain, hamstrings are a big thing that actually take over for your butt working when the butt should work, and then your hamstrings and your lower back overwork. So a lot of people think their lower back is weak, but actually their lower back is way too active. So leg is bent, turn it in, turn it out. Straighten the leg out. When it's turned in, turn out, straighten and bend it in. I'm gonna do this down different parts of my leg. Sometimes knee tension actually comes from hamstrings. Some things you don't know until you peel the layers away. Peel the layers away. All right. Next, it's gonna be hard to kind of show you, but you could do your chest. So I would put the block kind of towards the side, have my arm out here, have the arm out here, and I would come and lie down a little bit more. And you can kind of shift it. You could go all over the breast. If you just happen to have swollen limbs for a reason that time of the month, they might be more tender, you might not want to do it. Also, sometimes when I have a headache, I would lie down, just put my head on that like bumpy thing on the back of my head, and I would just lie there and slowly look over, and it actually feels really nice just doing like all the skull, and I would lie on my side more. Another video, I'll show you how to do like face stuff, so if you want lymphatic draining, also like wrinkles. I've been really doing it a lot around my eyes. Weird enough, my astigmatism's a lot better. I can't guarantee that again, it's just interesting. And I've actually helped some of the wrinkles around my eyes go away because it comes from just things collapsing in the body. So there's potential through all of this. So this is going to be, you could lie on your side and do your arm going down. You could lie on your back and put it on your sacrum. So this is the back of your pelvis. I'm not putting it into my lower back. Straighten one leg out, hug your knee into your chest. Move that knee around so you're just feeling the weight distribution part. This might really help if you have SI joint problems and sciatic problems, but again, don't put it in your lower back. Eventually, you could put it up in your upper back, so by your shoulder blades and hands behind the head. This is when I kind of like the bigger block. The smaller one would be really intense on the spine. Could you cause permanent damage? You absolutely could with these, so you might want to even shift it off of the spine and have it hang off to the side and just do one side of the back. Sometimes I also turn it vertical and I come and lie down it to the side of one spine. And so I put it between my shoulder blade and my spine. I might need to lift my hips up or readjust, and then I can kind of get that knot that's between the shoulder blades. But honestly, that knot usually gets released more that you do chest. Chest also is a huge trigger to your neck. So again, don't do your lower back and don't do your neck unless you know what you're doing more. That's when the ball might be good. You want more stillness, because sometimes where you feel the pain is a nerve, and you could cause permanent nerve damage from doing this stuff. So if you're not sure, you need to come in and see me, whether it's a class or a private or it's a virtual. Because you just need to understand the do's and the don'ts, and then you're going to be good to kind of go out on your own. You might come in for a check-in, and then you're going to go out and do more on your own. So start with working with what you have. Be curious. You're going to find other stuff for your feet too. That's fine. A bouncy ball. If it's too intense, sit down and do it. But just be careful of bony protrusions and too much pain. If you can't breathe with it, it's probably too intense, so you need to back off a little bit. But hopefully this will get you going, and let me know if you have any questions. And the blocks are going to be available on Unwinding Studio. That's my website, and there'll be some courses about it and a little bit more fine-tuning of things, because this is just the superficial fascia line of the front body, the back body. But what also we work in is the spirals in our body. So there's gonna be videos about the spiral getting deeper. That's deeper layer of muscle and fascia bands than the superficial that we just did. We also have lateral sideline, and then we also have these bands that go across your body that holds you forward, that also connect to the major joints of your back. So it's gonna be the band that connects up your neck, the C7 to T1, T12 to L1, L1 to sacrum area, your knees, your feet, your ankles, your wrists. Also, you could lie down on your ribs and do your forearm. It's gonna look like this. Here, this is when a bigger block would be a little easier to do it. You could go down it, going down towards your wrist. Also, if you were lying on your back, you could have your hand under you, so then the weight of your body is pushing on the hand, which is pushing on the block. I think I've covered a lot in this video, so let me know if you have any questions and start unwinding.